purpose of this 3-week custom camp was to help Brody overcome a lot of his very severe fear issues and to help Wrigley learn to calm down so that she can live a happy life and make many friends. Here's a bit of what we have been working on during our walk times. The goal of each walk is to have a loose leash. You can see me issue small corrections and collar cues throughout the entire video. I like to continue constant communication with me and the dog on every walk. Have them sit and stop. This helps return focus to you and serves as a way to calm them down, preventing overexcitement. Reward any eye contact that the dogs give you for the next couple of months. Wrigley has been doing very well and really enjoys treats like boiled chicken. Brody, on the other hand, typically doesn't really want treats if he's out somewhere where there are distractions, like cars or people. For him, what works best is keeping his focus by making turns or circling whenever you see him start to get frightened of something, and then praise him after he is calm again. It's very important to remember to not coddle them when they are nervous. All this does is it solidifies that that's something that they're supposed to be afraid of. Each dog would try to jump on me and give me a big hug every time they were afraid, and that's not really something that I like to see. That showed me that they had some big insecurities and they were very worried that whoever was walking them wasn't going to be taking good care of them, that they might not be safe. By working on building more focus on me than the distractions around them, I've pushed through a lot of this. Wrigley has been showing no fear, and if she does have a fear reaction, like she did early on in the weeks, she's very quick to recover, which is proper. I never fault a dog for getting startled at something, particularly in a setting like downtown Mobile where things are very loud spontaneously. The only time that I know that there's a problem is when the dog takes a long time to recover. Wrigley takes no more than a couple of seconds to recover, while Brody can take as much as 5 minutes to fully recover from a situation. Throughout this last week of working with Brody and desensitizing him to people, places, and things, we've seen a huge reduction in that recovery time. For us, he has been recovering in about 1 to 2 minutes, and that's for very frightening things like people, regardless to what we say, trying to continue to walk up to him and talk to him. So unsettling him a bit, he recovers very quickly now. Things like car horns or loud brakes, he's been recovering from extraordinarily well also. About the only thing we're still seeing a large issue with is if someone comes up towards his hind end very quickly, or there are piles of, like today, there were piles of garbage bags on the side that took him a couple of minutes to get accustomed to. These types of fear issues are something that you're probably going to have to manage throughout his entire life. It seems as if he's going to need a lot of continued socialization, whereas Wrigley could probably take a break from socializing, getting out and doing things for a couple of months. Brody, on the other hand, is not going to be able to do that. Whether this has been caused from mistreatment or just maybe poor puppy socialization, there's no real way for us to know. But regardless, we still have to try to make him as comfortable as he can possibly be and help to further that confidence in the weeks and months to come. I do expect him to be able to be just as confident as Wrigley as long as you continue with the program we've already started. The reason I say this is because while he's with us, we've seen him turn into a completely different dog. We've seen him be able to go downtown, walk by people, walk by small children, loud noises, and still have a good time. We've seen him go from not wanting to go anywhere, doing anything, to being so excited to run and jump into the car, super excited to go on his daily walk. We've seen him be enthusiastic when he managed to get up on the A-frame for the first time. Every new little thing that he overcomes, he really brightens up and it strengthens him. There is, and you can see this in the video, a large difference between me walking Wrigley and Brody in the way that I am telling them what to do. With Brody, I'm making sure that I am being very confident. He needs to be very confident in whoever has his leash in order for him to feel safe in situations. You can hear I issue a lot more commands verbally with him than I do Wrigley. Wrigley is picking up on my body language, looking at my face, and responding to collar cues very wonderfully. Brody needs a bit of verbal help in order to help him break through all that fear and all those scary thoughts going through his head. When I do see him start to walk ahead of me, before I issue any correction, I'll make sure to tell him no. If he does not correct, then I'll issue a collar correction. I'm giving him a chance to correct and do what he knows he's supposed to do. If he's lagging a little bit behind, I tap on my leg and I tell him to come on. That's just a bit of verbal encouragement from me, telling him, everything's fine, we're doing great, come on, stick with me, and you're gonna be okay. one thing to look out for anytime you're walking two dogs together is they're going to get a bit competitive. One's going to try to put that nose just a little bit further than the other one, and then it can quickly escalate into a pulling contest. So I don't recommend you walking them together until you've at least practiced in the house with each one of them, until you're very comfortable with the collar commands and using the e-collar. It is a lot easier to use the e-collar for corrections. You'll use it exactly the same way that you use the prong collar or any collar for a leash correction. But with it being the two-dog model, it's a lot easier to walk both of them simultaneously if you're issuing any cue or correction with the e-collar. Keep in mind, Wrigley has about a 3 to 5 number higher level than Brody at any given time. You may see these numbers fluctuate throughout the course of their lives and dependent on what type of distractions are around them. Some of the most well-mannered dogs we've had the pleasure to work with. They responded very well to all of their manners classes and are very happy to obey. They are very, very strong in what they think is right, and that's not always a bad thing, but it does make training them and working with them in life in general a little bit different than with other dogs. They're always going to have that little bit of question as to if what you're saying is true or not. Whereas other dogs will tend to just blindly obey whether they want to or not. Make sure to have them sit and wait before entering and exiting doors and vehicles. They've also been doing fantastic at going to their kennels when told and sitting and waiting for food. Here's a bit of what I have accomplished with Wrigley. You notice I tell her off when I don't want her in my face. I have her sit, and then she calmly sits for all the pets she can stand. Make sure you're very consistent with this. She's going to be excited when she gets home. So give both of them about 12 to 24 hours to settle in before you begin working too hard on all the things that they've learned here. Here's a bit of work with their commands. This is a bit of work with the place command. This is just essentially a go to your bed command, to where the dog goes, lays on their bed or their place until released. This is very helpful, and I do highly recommend this type of bed. You can purchase them off of Chewy. They're very inexpensive, very sturdy, and they fold up and get out of your way. The amount of time they spend on this can be increased. My dog has had to lay on her place for about 4 hours before. It's one of those things that it's easy to increase the time gradually while you're doing something like cooking or watching TV, because it's very easy with the e-collars to just, if she is to get up and try to walk away, you just tell her no, return her to her place, and continue about what you were doing. By increasing it in increments of about 2 to 5 minutes, you can really have a lot of fun with this and make it a very useful thing for you in your daily life with them. I do also recommend having a separate place for each dog to go to. Feel free to ask any questions, or if you have any issues with them and changing their place to a different bed at home, I can help and instruct you through that process as well. They were both very happy to do their commands one at a time and also to do their commands together. They really enjoy obedience, so I really hope that's something you keep up with them. They're happy to learn anything new. They really love hand signals, verbal commands. They love the communication. They've been thrilled every time that me and Ryan have gone to work on their commands. They give a lot of really good eye contact. It was wonderful to teach them the look command so that they look into our eyes. We even worked on a lot of advanced things like this. How you see I'm walking all the way around her and she's still laying down and staying. We worked on advanced leash work as well. We worked on down to heel. They've really come a long way. Wrigley is at a very high level obedience-wise, and Brody is at about an intermediate level.